Hello once again, race fans. Welcome back to another episode of the Dropping the Hammer Racing Hour here on The Grueling Truth, where legends speak. I'm Alex Gray, along here with Michael Klein. We'll go ahead and get started. Of course, we thought we were going to be talking about Atlanta today, but unfortunately things changed literally the day after we recorded our show. They actually told everyone to pack up and go home. And so it looks like we will not have any racing or any major sports activities going on until at least May. Some interesting stuff has broke out. If NASCAR were to get back up and running in May, it would probably be for the Martinsville night race that they have scheduled this season. It's certainly it's an interesting time, and not a good time that we're all living in. But again, it has to be done. But in the gloominess of the situation, sometimes you got to improvise, adapt, and overcome. And we are starting to see the NASCAR community really rally around iRacing, which is a huge sim. NASCAR even has their own iRacing circuit that they've had for quite a while now. As Ryan Vargas, who started up this whole E-Truck Series Night in America, powered by Filter Time. That will be taking place Thursday, March 19th at 7:30, which is tonight. Presented by Podium ESports, Speed 51, and iRacing. He literally got a bunch of people together for this. So if you want to go on iRacing tonight, you could certainly check that out. I wasn't able to watch a whole lot, but Michael, if you watched any of the races, what went down?
Oh, first half was really kind of full of wrecks. Second half it was just kind of Josh Williams running away with it. Not much happened.
All righty. There's a lot of names here for the entry list. At least they had Parker Kligerman, Ryan Truex, Brandon Brown, Christian Eckes, Rhea Fala, Ruben Garcia Jr., Zach Novak, the iRacing Series champion from last year, Josh Bilicki, Ty Gibbs, among others. Just a lot of names that got entered into this. So I'm looking forward to this race tonight. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. Podium ESports hosted the Replacements 100, which was won by Penske PR person Josh Williams, not to be confused with the Josh Williams in the Xfinity Series. Some big names competed in that, like William Byron, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. even got to run in it, which was nice to see. And some other big news, which, if I could pull it up from Adam Stern's tweet that was posted just recently. Let me check here. Here we go. NASCAR announced a new iRacing Invitational Series with star drivers, an ideal born from the current situation going on right now in the world. Participants include guys like Kyle Busch, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Denny Hamlin, in which Fox Sports 1 is expected to air the first race of iRacing's new NASCAR Pro Invitational Series from virtual Homestead on Sunday, barring any issues. All I can say here is I really like that, even with the situation that's going on right now, we're still able to take advantage, and, it's better than nothing. Honestly, you're taking advantage of a situation here, and, you're giving the fans and the community, you're giving it back, and you're at least doing something to give back to it. And obviously there's charities being donated to, anything to help out people. So I think it's really cool, and I think esports might be on the rise for the time being. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, with it being pretty much the only thing we can do right now. I'm sure it is. It's definitely not going to replace the real deal. But it can definitely, I guess, become somewhat of a good substitute for the real thing. I mean, there really is no good substitute, but it's probably as good as we're going to get. I like how Fox is, continuing to support NASCAR throughout all this, and going as far as to air this whole thing, just because I don't think there's any other broadcast out there that would do that, except for maybe NBC. I think NBC would probably do that for a NASCAR event. But if we're talking about the MLB games getting canceled or football games getting canceled, I don't think you're going to see, like CBS or any of these companies, television stations, airing a Madden match or an MLB 20 match.
Right. Yeah, I think it's great that, Fox Sports 1 is actually willing to air this, because obviously there isn't a whole lot to air right now besides NFL free agency. So, I think this is great. I think it's great that Fox at least wants to chip in and at least air this. I think it's great. I think iRacing has been a great tool for a lot of drivers, to learn tracks. Obviously, iRacing is not just a video game. This is a simulation that, they've scanned real actual tracks. I mean, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a bunch of people go to North Wilkesboro Speedway to clear it out and clear the weeds and let iRacing scan it. And I think that is I think it's truly an awesome program. Michael, I know you have it. I've seen it at your place. It's a great tool for a lot of people to use that may have it, especially for some that may also have a hard time trying to get in an actual race car, whether it be sponsorship or anything like that. They at least have a chance to, run in the Coca-Cola iRacing series or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely a good way for somebody to get involved in it. I mean, that's how William Byron got started. So, yeah, that's how someone's wanting to get into racing. It's definitely a good way to do it.
Yeah, certainly. So, obviously, nobody knows when the heck, things, and I firmly believe it will get better. Things will be back to normal at some point. This whole situation will, I think, surely change the world. So I'm not going to sit here and, perform any fear-mongering. I don't think that's the right thing to do. I don't know when the heck NASCAR will be back up and running. Nobody knows. NASCAR has said that they want to fit in all 36 races if possible. They've been reported that if they've explored some options, including midweek events for tracks with one annual weekend and double headers for tracks with two. Could also try to run during the Olympics break starting in late July, which definitely could at least extend the season past early November. And Michael, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think somehow NASCAR can fit in all 36 races still?
I think they can. The only thing I really question is whether or not they can do it before the playoffs start, which is what they said they want to do. Just how compact the schedule is. Obviously, to do that, yeah, you're going to have to talk about doubleheaders and midweek races, which honestly I would love. I've always loved midweek primetime racing. It doesn't seem like that's necessarily a popular decision to go with. Personally, though, I would enjoy it. So I don't know if NASCAR would necessarily go with that. I think the doubleheaders definitely seem more likely. But, if they are trying to get them all in without affecting the playoffs, there's no choice. You're going to have to throw some of those in midweek.
Right. And I agree that NASCAR, I think it's great they still want to fit in all 36 races, and they've talked about in future schedules, because obviously everything's changing next year, they want to try doing midweek racing. They want to try doubleheaders. Of course, they're testing that at Pocono this year in the summer. So, I think you got to do what you can, even if it means the season running, closer to Thanksgiving if needed. So, we'll see when it comes back. There's already been some breaking news that also has come out as of this morning. Here we go. NASCAR told teams on the 16th that it could have a revised 2020 schedule out as soon as later this week, apparently. We'll have to wait and see on that. Let's see. The Grand Prix Association of Long Beach did announce that it will not be able to conduct the 2020 Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach at a later date in the year. Formula One has also announced that the Monaco Grand Prix has been canceled. From Adam Stern, Indianapolis Motor Speedway is making contingency plans in case they have to postpone the Indy 500. The IndyCar CEO says the goal is to still run the race in May, which now I have a goofy idea. What if if things have to be pushed back a bit more, what if you ran the Indy 500 and the Brickyard 400 all in the same weekend?
Hey, that'd kind of be nuts. I honestly don't think they would be able to work that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially with the Indy 500, that you're talking about at least 200,000, even way more, that show up to that event. And of course, that's also IndyCar's big moneymaker, so I'm sure they're going to do what they can to make sure that this race gets rolling again. Right now it's just it's kind of a play-by-day situation almost with what's going on. I'm trying to remember what else. Because, like, for instance, the Kentucky Derby, which takes place at the first Saturday in every May, that got pushed back to September 5th. So at least that's still, going on as for somebody who's grown up watching that, who's actually also been there as well. So, again, this is a situation where, play it by day. But I also feel like that once things do clear up, and they will, I can imagine that someone a friend of mine made a post on Facebook that I thought was really well said, that, all sporting events are going to get sold out. Dining restaurants will have a 2-hour wait. And I feel like people will see life in a different way after all this. Some people might be like a bit more appreciative of things. Because nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or something like that. Yeah, here we go. He said, I know this, when this ends, and it will, every game will sell out, every restaurant will have a 2-hour wait, every kid will be glad to be in school, everyone will love their job, the stock market will skyrocket, every other house will get, I think that means toilet paper, and we'll all embrace and shake hands. That's going to be a pretty good day. Hang in there, world.
Yeah, definitely hoping that's the case. So, just to throw some good news out there, you want to go onto Twitter right now and go to Joey Stone's Twitter. He's just been building a paint scheme for tonight's event. And take a look over the right rear wheel.
All right. You said Joey Stone?
Yeah. Sloppy Joe.
Right. Yeah. All right. Let me see here. Oh, I see here. Super excited to carry the NASCAR YouTubers' colors and logos tonight. Do you spot your favorite creator? Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Yeah,
hey,
look over the right rear.
I see it. Michael Klein Racing. That's awesome, dude.
Yep, your boy is a sponsor for Joey Stone tonight and Vargas's iRacing event.
That's incredible. I think it's really awesome how, there's such a big NASCAR community on YouTube that, everybody, I think, is coming together more than ever. Obviously, I see you on there, Iceberg, I see Carnation, Danny B, MDK, IDK Player, and a bunch of other names on there. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, I've always been looking for sponsorship, and now the sponsor has become the sponsor. So
there you go. All right, we'll definitely watch that. That's going to be the E Truck Night in America taking place at 7:30.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to watch all of it just because I got work. I'm going to try to schedule my break around then, though, so I can watch at least some of it.
Alrighty. Yeah, I think I'll be able to watch it since I work later hours now. So
yeah, I was going to be in it, but I've just been having issues with my computer. I've been sick this week, and I've had to take off work the past few days, so can't take tonight off. Got to go in.
That's understood. Alrighty. So obviously, I know right now we won't be able to cover a whole lot of races. What's this that I just stumbled upon on Twitter? I think they're called Comics by Bruno. They've made like so funny little NASCAR comic cartoon kind of pictures in the past, and somebody made the final lap of the 1990 Daytona 500, which shows Dale Earnhardt in front of Derek Cope, and in front of them are the two Days of Thunder cars, the 18 going son of a censored while they're like banging, crashing, hitting the wall. The 51, this one's for you, Harry. And Dale Earnhardt's right behind him going, look at these idiots. That's funny. I'm gonna retweet that. That's actually kind of funny. Because as we go a little off topic here, fun fact about the 1990 Daytona 500, they actually, which I'm pretty sure NASCAR may not allow it now, but they actually put 2 extra cars in the field for shooting for the Daytona, for the Days of Thunder movie. And, they just told them,
I remember that.
Yeah. I believe the 2 drivers were Greg Sachs and Bobby Hamilton who drove those cars. And
Bobby Hamilton and Tommy Ellis. I think Greg Sachs drove for a few other ones, but the Daytona one was Ryan Ellis. No, Tommy Ellis. My bad.
Tommy Ellis. Yeah, Tommy Ellis. That's right. Thank you for clearing that up. Yeah, and they literally just told them to, ride around, and they didn't cause any issues. And, I don't know if another NASCAR movie is made like that. I don't know if they're going to be able to do something like that again. But it is really cool that at least they allowed them to race in it. Because you can even hear, because I think they ran around for like the first half of the race, and then he went behind the wall just to gain footage for the movie that starred Tom Cruise in it. So there's a little fun fact for you.
Yeah, fun fact, I think Tom Cruise actually wanted to do his own stunt driving. I think that's what I heard, but, of course he couldn't. Yeah.
And I also do know that Rick Hendrick was responsible for putting those Days of Thunder cars together as well. I think Hendrick and Tom Cruise were very much involved in the making of that. So that movie certainly helped put NASCAR on the national spotlight as well in the 90s. Speaking of the 90s.
I still say that's the greatest movie of all time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And that's where the name of this, of course, I credit Michael more because he actually came up with this because we were always the NASCAR show on the Grilling Truth, and I told him, we need a different name for this because the NASCAR show is just bland and we need something interesting. He said, how about Dropping the Hammer? I was like, hey, I like that. So we went ahead and rolled with that, and I put the racing hour in that, and I thank you for that idea. I think it's a great name for this podcast.
Yeah, I can't believe no one's thought of it yet.
Yeah, so I'm glad we did. I think it's pretty cool. So, speaking of the 90s, I thought something fun that we'd at least cover today to close out the show would be to go over a bunch of old NASCAR rumors from the past. I've seen Reddit threads on this. I've seen a website from Rubbins Racing, in which half the time doesn't work anymore, which sucks because, oh my God, there were so many interesting rumors on there. Actually, on Twitter last night, I posted a picture. In a game called NASCAR Racing 2003 season, you can do a lot with that game. There's all sorts of mods. If you wanted to race the cars from the 80s, you could. If you wanted to race the truck series.
I tried to download that yesterday. I kept getting this error message.
When you load the game up?
Yeah. It goes to the loading screen, and then it crashes, and it gives me, error 6025, something like that.
Okay. Because I know on newer computers, because this game was made in 2003, I do know that if you click drive when you're about to go onto the track, your game will crash. And from what I've learned, they said, you got to disable the DEP secure boot, which, if you're wondering what that is, it's like, from what I've heard, it's just an extra level of security on your computer that these newer systems have. I think I do have the actual file that helps me race as well without it. I'll have to locate it. But is this from when you're about to go onto the track, or is this just loading the game up in general?
Yeah, it's just loading the game up. It'll go through the opening screen, and then when you have the Pro Pirates logo with Johnny Benson's car in the background, that's when it just crashes and shuts down. Okay,
that's interesting. I haven't had that issue before, so okay. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I had Cody Hicken help me out with that. He actually gave me the link, and it seemed to be working fine. And I texted him, saying, what does this mean? And unfortunately, he didn't know, so I guess it's not really a common issue.
Excuse me. But, a lot of people have also painted cars. Like, you can actually download templates, and you can edit them in, Photoshop or GIMP or something like that. And I actually ended up painting I like painting cars. I think they're a lot of fun. I actually painted an interesting what if, in 1984, Junior Johnson's team, which back then, that was the team that you wanted to race for, was Junior Johnson. And Darrell Waltrip was in the 11. Neil Bonnet was in the 12. Both of them drove a Budweiser car. So, I think at one point there was a rumor that one car would get sponsored by Budweiser and one car would get sponsored by Busch. So I kind of painted what if Neil Bonnet drove the Busch car while Darrell Waltrip drove the Budweiser car, since Anheuser-Busch is very heavily invested. It's one of those companies that's heavily invested in NASCAR. And speaking of Junior Johnson, if I remember correctly, there's actually an interview of Junior Johnson even talking about this. But once upon a time, let me pull it up here. Yeah, Darrell Waltrip was asking for a salary raise or a $300,000 salary to drive another year at Junior Johnson Racing. Should Waltrip have been denied this race and walked out, Dale Earnhardt would have been a main candidate to replace him. So there's a couple instances where Dale Earnhardt could have driven for Junior Johnson instead of Richard Childress, and not just that, but he and his best friend Neil Bonnet would have been teammates as well. So just some interesting stuff I found, especially some 1984 rumors. Let's see here. Richard Petty was rumored to leave his own team for Harry Ranier Racing. With the move, Cal Yarborough would have replaced Tim Richmond in the Blue Max number 27. At the time, another team courted King Richard was a team called All-Star Racing, which would later become Hendrick Motorsports. The then team was to have Kenny Rogers, country music superstar, as a car owner at one point. That's interesting.
Yeah, honestly, kind of reminds me of that whole story of L.W. Wright.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not sure. Yeah, no one here has heard of that. Top Shoes and Black Lives Matter made a video on this guy, but basically what happened was, he got a loan from a national investor. He claimed he had sponsorship from several country stars, and it was clear that he wasn't who he said he was. He was asking questions that any racer should have known. None of the drivers there could ever remember racing against him. So anyway, he buys a car from Sterling Marlin. He drives in the Talladega 500, blows the motor 13 laps in, and he just leaves. He leaves everything behind, and no one's heard of him since. And all his checks out, and no one knows where he is now or what happened to him.
Yeah, I remember watching that video. I know exactly what you're talking about. That is one of the most bizarre things I've ever heard of. In terms of that was just one of those bizarre things. Let's see here. At one point, because I was talking about Junior Johnson, Alan Kulwicki obviously was the kind of guy that, he did things his own way, and that's how he did it. It was his way or, the highway. At one point, Junior Johnson actually offered Alan Kulwicki twice, in some cases, for him to drive for his team. And as I said before, Junior Johnson was a top-notch team to drive for. And both times Kulwicki declined and said, no, I want to drive my own car, and I'm going to succeed with it. And, he did. Junior Johnson, let me see if I can pull it up here. Yeah. In 1990, Junior Johnson, owner of one of the top NASCAR teams, approached Alan Kulwicki at the beginning of the 1990 season, trying to get him to replace Terry Labonte in the number 11 Budweiser Ford. He declined, stating he had more interest in running his own team. And before 1991, after Xerox ended the sponsorship with Kulwicki, Junior Johnson came back to Alan, and he turned down Johnson's $1 million offer, thinking he had secured sponsorship with Maxwell House Coffee. Johnson then went to Maxwell House himself and obtained sponsorship for his new car. Sterling Marlin was hired to drive it instead. And, of course, the rest was history, as Alan Kulwicki would go on to beat a Junior Johnson car in Bill Elliott to win the 92 championship. So there's another fun little fact there for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't even know that he owned the 22. I thought that was Bill Davis owned at the time.
Yeah, I won't lie. Me too. I thought that was Bill Davis because around the time, and this next one involves Jeff Gordon. This one is on the Racing Reference website, Historical Motorsports Stories. There's all sorts of fun little stories posted on there. And it was, if I can remember correctly, Jeff Gordon, Ford basically went to Bill Davis and said, hey, this Jeff Gordon guy, I think he's a future superstar. I think we need him in our camp. And we can try and beat guys like Earnhardt at the time. So Bill Davis kind of tried to swoop him in to bring him up to Cup for 93. And apparently they were talking to Target for a sponsorship. But during that time, Jeff Gordon was offered from Rick Hendrick. And right before Bill Davis could even get the deal done, Jeff Gordon just decided to go with Hendrick Motorsports, and we all know what happened from there. So yep. I do find that a little interesting, to say the least. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, here's another weird rumor. Someone put in Rubbins Racing, according to one incredible rumor, the 1997 season was said to be Dale Earnhardt's final season with RCR. He would end up running for his own team, DEI, by 1998, with sponsorship from Nike.
Huh. Yeah, I never heard about that one.
Yeah, that one's a little interesting, especially 98. That was the whole story of, and I'm sure you've heard of this, but there was going to be a deal put in place where Tim Steele's father, and Tim Steele was a red-hot, really good ARCA driver during the time, won 3 championships in the 90s. Honestly, before Frank Kimmel broke out, it was Tim Steele in ARCA. And there was a deal put together that his father, Harold, and NFL legend Brett Favre were going to purchase Bud Moore's racing team, which Bud Moore's team was unfortunately not looking too good going into the late 90s. And the deal was that Steele would drive this Cup car. He would drive for Rookie of the Year in the 98 Winston Cup season. And, Tim Steele had a practice, like a test session at Atlanta. Car was pretty fast. They went out a second time, and Tim Steele had a really, really bad, and this was right after Atlanta just got reconfigured to the track we know now. And Tim Steele had a terrible test crash literally 10 days before the deal was going to be announced. And this team was going to have sponsorship from Nike and Sony, two massive companies that would have gotten into the sport. And unfortunately, it never happened because of that crash. And they even tried afterward to get rolling, but unfortunately, Tim Steele's health was not great at the time. He had serious head issues, concussion issues, and Tim Steele, of course, was able to come back and race in 2000 and beyond. He actually went on to win the very first ARCA race at Kentucky Speedway, if I remember correctly, and Steele went on to retire in 2007. So I can't help but think if Tim Steele hadn't had that test crash, how would that have gone with that team, having such powerful sponsorship and a powerful guy like Brett Favre helping out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those crazy what ifs.
Mhm. Yeah, I can't help but think about and really think about all the different what ifs that could have happened. There's a YouTube channel. A good friend of mine named Griff Dog. He's made some incredible content on YouTube. He made a series with NR 2003 called What If Dale Earnhardt Was Still Alive. He covered 2001 to 2016. This was a few years ago. And he also had his project for a while called One More Spark, which is essentially like all these what ifs put into one universe. Like, what if Jim Richmond, Neil Bonnet, Alan Kawicki, Davey Allison, Dale Earnhardt, Adam Petty, what if they all were still alive? What if Riverside, North Wilkesboro never went away? What if, what if certain other tracks had cut dates? So he did the 2001 season for it. That's also on YouTube. Just incredible content that he's put together, and I think it's just fun to think about, and it really opened my mind up to going, wow, what could have been? So definitely highly recommend people check out his channel.
Yeah, I'll have to go give him a look.
Mhm. Let me see here if there's anything. I remember a rumor from not too long ago. I think it was like 2012. Yeah, because this is when the Gen 6 was about to come in. And Penske had announced they were moving to Ford. Dodge didn't have anyone for 2013, and they had already announced their Gen 6 car and everything. There was a rumor that Andretti Autosport was going to field a one-car Cup program, and I think they were going to get Kurt Busch to drive the car. But I guess, Dodge kind of just pulled from NASCAR, and nothing really happened from that. But I remember that being a wild rumor for a few days. And then, of course...
Yeah, I remember that, too. I actually remember being at Elliott Sadler show car thing when that was going on, and I remember the guy who was running it actually said that had been confirmed.
Wow. That's interesting. So it makes me think if they had something in place, but it fell through because Dodge just straight up pulled out from NASCAR because they didn't have anyone. So, I remember being at I remember thinking to myself, even when I was at the Kentucky Cup races then, going, oh my God, there's only 3 Dodges in the field. You got the 2 and the 22 from Penske, and then you got Robbie Gordon in the 7. So I was like, what the heck happened? They only came back in 2001, and they only lasted for 11 years in the sport. And I know a lot of people really want them back when the next gen car comes out. So I don't know. Time will tell for that.
Yeah, I'm really hoping so, too. We've always been a Dodge family. In fact, if you go out and look in our driveway, we have got nothing but Chrysler and Dodge.
Oh, nice. Okay. I'll be sure to observe that if next time I visit you.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. I've got a Chrysler 200. My dad has a Dodge Dart, and just kind of the family car is the Dodge Durango.
Nice.
Yeah, if Dodge does come back to NASCAR, I'd like to see him come back with the Dart.
Yeah. Yeah, they got to bring that car back because I really like the Dart. I like the design of it.
Did they discontinue that?
Yeah, I think they only ran for a little bit. Let me look it up real quick.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that kind of, I didn't even know that.
The Dart was awesome.
Yeah, I love the design of the Dart. You know, I love the commercials. Don't touch my Dart. Yeah, I think it was in the model years 2013 to 2016 were the only years that the Dart was made. That sucks. I hope they bring that car back.
Yeah.
Huh.
You know, what I've got is basically a Dart. It's, you know, the Chrysler 200 is basically the same vehicle as the Dodge Dart. It's just with the Chrysler logo on it.
Yeah. You know, I know what you mean because, like, back then when, you know, GM had, you know, Pontiac and Oldsmobile, you know, some of their cars were framed off of, like, similar Chevy models even. So, or, you know what I mean. Yeah, I see a picture of it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I can see a resemblance. Huh. Okay. For me, I drive a 2013 Mazda 3, which, of course, Mazda is in some motorsports, but not NASCAR, although I think that would be awesome. But unfortunately, they don't have a pickup truck. So, of course, my dad owns, actually, he used to have a Kia Soul. He now has a Hyundai Tucson, in which I didn't even know until recent. I didn't even know Kia was under Hyundai. So I know there's
really?
been rumors. Yeah, which I can see why there are Hyundai rumors of, you know, potentially in the future of Hyundai joining NASCAR. Now I get it. The Kia Stinger, because that car, that's a NASCAR right there. The Kia Stinger, that's a NASCAR waiting to happen. I think that car, it looks perfect to be on a NASCAR track, and I think it would be cool to see. It's an amazing performance car, and this car only debuted like a couple of years ago. So,
oh yeah, and dude, so you know, if you call it a NASCAR one more time, I'm gonna lose it.
All right, my apologies.
You're good.
Shouldn't.
You're good, dude.
All right, should I say a stock car? Would that be better?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
the
there was a huge debate going on earlier within, like, my group chat.
Oh, yeah?
This one guy was, it was actually, I think it was Jake Bassinger. He was saying, dude, it is a stock car, not NASCAR's. People keep calling it that, I'm going to lose it.
All right. I'll refer to the Kia. Let me rewind. I think the Kia Stinger is a stock car waiting to happen.
There we go.
The design,
what I like to do sometimes is say NASCAR race car. You know, that's what they got on the side of the car. So.
Yeah, true that. They got the little contingency there on the side.
Yeah, you know, and I get it. It's easy to confuse if you're not really that into the sport because, you know, it's car and you have NASCAR. You know, I guess if you're just kind of a casual fan, you may not know that NASCAR is actually an acronym.
Yeah, it's the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing.
Yeah.
For those of you people that may not know, man, I feel silly for calling it a NASCAR because I'm like, Jesus, I've been a fan since 2004. I shouldn't be saying that. But, yeah, a NASCAR race car. I think a Kia Stinger could certainly be one. Let's see here. Because I know on JSQ.com, they have a section talking about the next-gen car on here. And on the side here, it has, like, common questions on it. And it's just like,
you know,
well...
actually, something to bring up with all this now, Formula One actually announced earlier today they're actually going to push the new car back to 2022 because of everything that's going on. So it makes you almost wonder, NASCAR going to do something similar.
Really?
Yeah. Unfortunately, that means another year of Mercedes domination, but...
Okay. All right, so you're saying that the next gen is going to get pushed back?
I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying, Formula One has announced that is what they're doing. So
Formula One.
NASCAR may do something similar to that.
That's right. Formula One has their new model coming out, too.
Yeah, I doubt it just because NASCAR plans to make up all these events, and Formula One is just plain canceling most of them, it sounds like. They've already announced Monaco's not happening.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they said Australia's not happening. I don't think Vietnam is going to happen. I don't think the street courses are going to be able to be made up. I also heard it's unlikely the Spanish Grand Prix is going to be made up, but with NASCAR, they're all getting made up. They're going to run them all.
Yeah, and I really appreciate NASCAR's efforts for, trying to do everything they can to make sure we still get a full season. Because originally, they were supposed to, they were going to run Atlanta and Homestead with no fans. But of course, even the issue then is you still have hundreds of people there across all three circuits. So, I think NASCAR's taking the right steps here and just figuring out, what's the best option moving forward. Maybe soon they'll publish a revised 2020 schedule, and hopefully we'll here in a couple months or so we'll get back to racing, and we'll see how the season plays out.
Yeah, hopefully sooner rather than later. I don't know how much longer I can deal with this.
Yeah, I don't blame you, but I personally I read my friend's Facebook post earlier. I think once racing is back, and it will be, I think everybody's going to just show up at once. I think more people will just start going to the races because I think more people are going to be thankful for what they have and everything they have and everything else. It's a difficult situation in the world right now that really nobody in our lifetimes have ever experienced. So, you just take it a day at a time. Always remember the typical stuff. Wash your hands, social distancing, and just take good care of yourself, really, because anyone can get it. So, that's all I can just say to you, because we both still have jobs to attend to, which is good. And, we just take care of ourselves and be careful.
Yeah, and the good news is that it looks like the USAC event at Lawrenceburg is still on for here in a couple weeks, so hopefully we'll be able to make that trip.
Okay, that's a good sign. Yeah, because I think...
Yeah, they're still promoting it, and they're still promoting it for the original date.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, hopefully that still goes as planned. Hopefully, we'll wait and see on that. And even right now, WWE is doing their show still at the Performance Center with no fans in attendance, which I am amazed they're able to still do that, because I've watched clips of their recent shows. I used to be huge into WWE, not as much as I used to, but I'm just like, how are they doing this? They're even going to do WrestleMania with not in Tampa anymore. They're going to do it at the Performance Center again with no fans. So, wow, that's I'm rather impressed that WWE is still able to go in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it surprised me how they're able to continue on with no fans.
Yeah, so I think that's about everything we can cover in our show today. You got anything else?
No, that's about it.
All righty. We might be back on next week. If not, we'll switch to a bi-weekly situation. We'll keep you listed there. There's going to be stuff to talk about still, just, not in the same capacity. So, besides that, thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode of the Dropping Hammer Racing Hour. please remember to take good care of yourself, wash your hands, do what is needed. I guess good luck trying to find toilet paper. So besides that, thank you guys so much. We'll see you again very soon. I'm Alex Gray along here with Michael Klein. Signing off. We'll see you next time.